Hi, hello, welcome to episode 28 of the Personal Project Podcast. This is a podcast where Katy Arrington, I'm a life coach and an artist, and I just talk all about what I've learned from my last week when it comes to personal development, when it comes to my art, when it comes to my mindset. I used to struggle with a lot of self-loathing, anxiety, depression, and just all that stuff. And so this is my weekly update of what I'm doing to make a better life for myself. So thank you so much for being here and listening to me. But I also seriously cannot thank this process enough of this thing that I'm doing, this podcast that has me looking every week on my last week and then asking myself what I learned so that I can share it with you. And sometimes what I learned is really not clear to me until I have sit down and written this podcast. I actually have to sometimes sit for a few minutes thinking, like more than a few minutes sometimes, really thinking like, what did I learn? What can I share? And I wouldn't probably have done that if I don't have something like this. And I learn so much that way. So guys, I really urge you to do the same thing. You don't have to create a podcast, but I don't know, spend some time journaling and asking yourself, what did you learn from your last week? What could you do differently? What could you do better? Or just what did you learn? That's it, right? Like just what did you understand about yourself a little more? It really is so valuable. So here is what I learned. So it's been a real struggle to create this podcast, actually. It's currently a day late for me. I usually work on my podcast on Mondays, but it's Tuesday now. And yeah, it's been a struggle. And really, it's because I've been really down on myself, thinking that I'm not helpful in these things that I say and write. I get really scared about repeating myself, which is funny because I re-listen to my favorite podcasts all the time in order to let things sink even more and just to understand it in a different way, hear it differently every single time. Like I want to explain things really well, and I compare myself to other coaches and thinking like I'm not as helpful, or I'm not saying it the best way, or I'm just rehashing stuff. I don't know, right? Like I'm just going down that road. And also that I must be a fraud since I'm not perfect and that I still struggle to. And in these moments where I really struggle, I totally forget how much progress I've made. Like it's really insane. I rarely feel socially anxious anymore. I really love my work when I used to really hate it. Like honestly, it's a lot of the same stuff that I used to struggle a lot with in art. Like I'll never find a style, I'm not original, I'll never be as good as another artist, I'm a fraud, any success I've gotten was a fluke. But it's like for coaching or for my coaching content, like essentially writing, it's like I assume I'm going to make a bad video already. And I learned a lot this week. It's funny because I avoid Instagram when I'm feeling like this, because I also create a lot of content for Instagram. So if you're not following me there, please do if you want some more not video form, right? It's like written or me talking like really quick, just little snippets of inspiration every day. Because anyway, I avoid it because I'm just sure that everyone thinks the same way that I do, that I'm not helpful, that I'm not legit, which is kind of really annoying me as I wrote this and thought about this, because damn, I put so much time and effort and money into all of this. Of course this is legit. Of course I'm legit about this. If you could look inside my mind and see how much I'm bursting with passion to help other people with their emotions and their goals and their life, it's insane. And I know that I'm this way because I really think about my past self, and I seriously see my past self in every single person out there. And anyone who wants help, I see my past self. So my devotion and how much I want to help is really rock solid to me. But then I checked Instagram finally at some point. I was like, this is enough, I'm gonna do it. And I had a message from somebody saying that I've helped them so much and they want to take up that free call with me, but they're really nervous to talk to people they don't know on the phone. If that's you, well, you probably know my voice really well by now, so it wouldn't be so different, right? And being nervous is normal. If you're nervous, then this is probably that thing that's really gonna help you grow the most. Imagine how you're gonna feel after. That's really how I curbed so much of my procrastination, is imagining how I'm gonna feel after I do something or not do something. And that is what really has helped like motivate me with a lot of things. So if you're scared you're gonna freeze, and you'll get stuck on your words or something like that, I promise you, I wouldn't judge. Whatever you get to do and act however you want. I'll just talk. Like if you decide not to talk, I'm just gonna keep talking, which clearly I'm really good at, right? I'll just be talking your ear off. So if you think about it, it wouldn't be that much different than the podcast, right? And for real, I really wouldn't judge. For like it does me no good to judge my clients, right? Like what kind of coach would I be if I'm judging my clients? Like that literally has no purpose for me as a coach to judge my clients. And also, you'll be talking to a girl who literally spent an entire night in the bathroom of a party once. Like, I was wearing SpongeBob jammy pants while everyone else was like drinking and having fun, and I was stuck in the bathroom. I tried to get out one moment, but I saw somebody and I ran back in. And I swear to God, I spent the entire night there. It was mortifying. It was not great. My social anxiety was through the roof. So seriously, I am the last person to be judging. And then I also got a message from someone whose work I really loved, and they told me that I helped them out of art block the other day. And then also a dear friend told me that I've made an impact in their life even before I took up coaching. So essentially, my thoughts about a lot of things has been really incongruent with reality. And this is what one of my clients said too, who had the same problem. They have this firm belief that they weren't good enough, and we really worked on them not believing that thought. Like it comes up, but it's amazing that with this awareness for them, with this like coaching work, they were able to really see like how that thought just, if it comes up, it's not worth believing, because they were offered to fill a role in school that they really didn't expect. Like they kept thinking that they weren't a good student, or they weren't good as like, they just weren't good enough. And then their professor asked them to fulfill a really awesome role. And like they said yes immediately, even though in the past they would probably think like, or say like, I'll think about it, and I really loved hearing that. Like, yes, it's not true what your brain tells you. This to me is just another reminder that what you think is real, quote unquote, is not real. What you think is real is a complete lie. Or at the same time, it's also your truth. Like whichever you decide is real is your truth. But it can also be a lie, because I'm sure that there are plenty of people who don't find me helpful, right? So it's just as true that I'm not helpful. We are all delusional, but we get to decide what is real. We get to decide whatever we're going to delude ourselves about. So I can think just as much that I'm not helpful, and I can think just as much that I am helpful. Right? And that's true for anyone. Like this is the same with art. Like if 5 people like your work on Instagram, the thought, oh wow, 5 people like my work, that is awesome, that thought is just as available to you as the thought, no one likes my work, nobody sees me, no one cares about me, I'm invisible. I promise you that having more likes is not going to change how you think and feel. I've seen an artist post on Instagram that they were feeling down because they were getting less likes, and this was on a picture that had 30,000 likes. Okay? So anyway, in my reflection about last week, where I've been really struggling with my coaching content, like this, like the YouTube, the podcast and stuff, and it was kind of strange, right? Because I was really on it in October, November, and I think even before that, pretty much as I was going through coach training and before I went through coach training. Now I have been really struggling with it just in the last couple weeks. So I was trying to understand what went wrong. So this is kind of what I think happen. So I've noticed with me that I get beginner's luck phenomena a lot, like with a lot of things. The first time I played darts, I got a bullseye, like the first couple times. First time playing pool, I won. First few times doing spray painting, I was really happy with it. Like I felt like this was really good. And then with all of these things, like at the third or so attempt, I always fall short. Like with darts, I would miss the board completely 5 times in a row. After hitting a bullseye, I would miss the board completely. And before I understood the human mind, and knew about like being aware, noticing patterns, all this kind of stuff, I thought this was more evidence that anytime I did well, it was a fluke. That anytime I did well, it was just luck, right? But now I know that it's because these other thoughts start creeping in. Like, I'm supposed to be good now. I'm supposed to know what I'm doing. I'm supposed to keep this up. I'm supposed to say it perfectly. I'm supposed to be helpful. I'm supposed to make the greatest drawing of all time. This is why I tense up and why I don't make it even close to the bullseye at all after that. Because I'm not relaxed, right? I'm totally just like totally tense. So what I really discovered here is that the thought that's like given me a lot of like success when I do find it is the thought I'm supposed to suck. Because that's how I feel when I go into something new. I'm thinking like I'm supposed to suck. So yeah, it's just I know it's not gonna be great, so I'm just gonna do my best. And then anything else after that is bonus, right? So with my coaching content in the beginning, I wasn't overthinking anything. I was just making stuff, but I totally expected to suck. I knew I was in learning mode. So I just did my best. And then December and January came after I was certified. And yep, those thoughts started to creep in, right? And I tensed and I was so hard on myself for not being perfect. Yes, I'm a coach, but I was hard on myself for being human, really. So, my lovely listener, I'm not perfect, but I'm really glad I'm not because it makes us all so much closer. I'm just like you. I have some bad days just like you, but for all of us, I'm also going to prove that you don't need to be perfect to achieve your goals. You just have to have the awareness to learn from your mistakes. Me procrastinating on my coaching content has also been eating into my free time, which is when I get to draw. So that's really affecting my art stuff too, which really sucks. So I'm like really compelled to fix this. But yes, I'm always trying to understand why I chose to do that and how I can make a different choice in the future. What did I learn? What did I get out of it? And then I also do my best to skip the part where I beat myself up. It's useless, right? However, knowing that like that can be a human tendency to beat ourselves up, that has helped also motivate me to make sure that like, that I don't avoid things, that I do things and I think again about how it feels after. And every time it gets a little better and better. I understand a little more. I go a little deeper and then I share all of it with you and I apply it to my clients. An example of this problem-solving thing that I did recently is that I'm now really committed to waking up on time with my alarm. I had been slacking on waking up on time like before this week. I would click snooze 2 or 3 times and it really sets my day like to snooze a lot of things, right? Like I would snooze on starting a certain task. Like I'm like, oh, I can do 5-10 minutes. And it would really seriously mess up my entire schedule because I would be late to things to things that I plan, to things that I have on my calendar, and then I would have to move stuff around, and I was also more groggy because I was going in and out of sleep. So then one day, I decided I was going to get the fuck up, like right on time. Like this is stupid. I'm not doing this anymore. And so I thought of solutions like moving my phone away from my bed, chugging a big bottle of water as soon as I wake up. And I even had a thought prepared. Like I had like a Post-it note or like a piece of card where I wrote a thought. I think, what was the thought? I wrote like, if I go back to bed right now, because I had to stand up to turn off my alarm. If I go back to bed right now, it's going to be so much worse. That was my thought. Although another thought that I like just as much is, I like it's so much better to wake up on time. And that has been true with my experience so far. And anyway, so I did it one day, like the first day that I did it, and waking up immediately, right? Chugging the water, thinking the thought. I said it to myself over and over again, like, it's going to be so much worse if you go back to bed. It's going to be so much worse if you go back to bed, which led me to go straight to the shower. And oh my God, waking up immediately, not putting myself through the torture of snoozing was so worth the initial discomfort. And I'm now so committed to waking up early. So my first decision of the day is going to be a good one. And I know that's going to really help me throughout the rest of the day. Even for now, I can mess up the rest of the time, but I'm going to start with this. I'm going to really commit to waking up on time. But also the other benefit is that if I don't follow through on something on my calendar, I've removed a layer of the problem, which is the snoozing on all my stuff, right? And being late to my stuff because I was snoozing and then kind of feeling tired and groggy. Now, instead, I'm up on time, right? I'm not late, but now I just have to really face the discomfort of following through and really practicing my self-coaching in the mornings, like my morning routine, which I had been slacking on too, because I go to sleep, because I snooze, right? Because I'm like, oh, self-coaching, mind management, mental health is not that important. I can just snooze. It's okay. I can do it I can do it later or whatever. So after 3 days of committing to waking up straight away, which like I said has been really amazing, and it's also been easy to do because of that prepared thought that I have, and I really believe that thought that it's so much better to get up than to not. My reason is just so compelling too, because I don't want to mess up my schedule. I don't want to give myself the opportunity to be mean to myself, all that kind of stuff. Then I added another commitment, which is to follow my morning routine exactly. So doing my self-coaching, that's the next added layer of commitment. So I can really feel my commitment muscle getting stronger and stronger. Building that ladder, creating that muscle. And I know I'll get better and better and better at following my plans that way. I'm starting with that. The other thing I did too is I decided to just ask if it's helpful. On Instagram, that's where I asked, and if people wanted to see more. And the most amazing feedback that I've gotten is that people actually like it when I share my imperfections, when I'm imperfect, that I share what I struggle with, and then I share my solutions to it too. So what a freaking relief. I'm very excited to share all of my imperfections with you all. Thank you so much for listening. If you're interested in some personalized free help, I do free coaching calls, free breakthrough calls, which you can find in the description and all of that. I am just so honored and happy to help. So thank you very much, and I'll talk to you guys next week. Bye!